over. So this one I want to be up here, and I need it to go through there. So I'm going to start the hole inside here. With the idea of going at an angle. Sometimes it helps to dip it in a little bit of water to get right on the end of that drill bit. So as I'm looking down at this, let's get over here. I'm looking down at an angle, and so I'm keeping the drill bit in the direction that I want so that I can estimate where it's going to come out up here. I don't want it too far underneath the knob, but I don't want it out on the outer edge of the lid. Okay, let's go back in there. Be careful about the amount of force you use. You want to be firm but gentle and ready to let go the pressure at any moment. So that's what the inside looks like so far. There we go. I just popped through it. So that's good. That's exactly where I want it to be. So you can jam the drill bit in there from both directions and kind of make sure that it's clear. When you glaze this, you're going to be sure to put wax on both sides of that so that you don't clog it up. I've never been able to unclog one of these for students that get them full of glaze. So if you get it full of glaze, you might as well forget about it, because unless you have some super duper tools that will drill through glass, because it'd take you less time and be less trouble to just make a new lid. But then you're going to have trouble getting it to fit. That's the reason, well, I take a lot of time in getting my lids to fit because I'm so picky about them. So there we go. And then you have a little hole. Okay, I'm going to dampen the area that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to move this so I can see the profile, because I'm looking in this direction because my mirror is over there. And so I'll take my needle tool. Well, first I think we need to just take off So I'm going to take my needle tool, give myself a healthy width for the foot. Brace my arm. And a healthy spot to be going sideways on it. I really protect this needle tool. Actually, I think I'm protecting myself, because if you just leave it laying around, you're going to damage it if you drop it, and or you're going to hurt yourself if you dig your hands into a container or into a pile of tools, and you come up with that thing impaled in one of your fingers. And clay is kind of germy. It has mold and stuff in it. You know, it's just stuff you don't need running around in your bloodstream, right? There's enough environmental stuff out there to get us. We don't need to help it along. This one's a little drier than the other one seemed to be. The other one, when I got down deep in there, I could see that I was exposing some pretty wet clay. Slow but sure. Don't get anxious and get in a big hurry and press down too hard, because you'll either knock it off center, or you'll poke a hole in it, or some other. Okay, let's go down here and see if I can find my line again. You do want to take this little button off, though. You don't want to leave it on there, because if you glaze this part of your pot, and that little button will touch the kiln shelf, then you've just killed it. You have permanently attached it to the shelf. And so what you can do is take something that you feel pretty certain is fairly straight and put it across there, and make sure that you have some shrink room. Make sure you can see air under there, right under there, because if you cannot see air under there, and I guess it's just trial and error according to how much your clay is going to shrink as to how much you should leave. You will know. In fact, when you do some of your testing for glazes, you should make stuff that has bottoms on it like this, so that you can see how far down it goes and so forth. Make little cups or something and cut them in half in order to use those as testers, glaze testers. Let's put that a little deeper right there. So when I'm doing the little foot here, this area right here is deeper, goes down further than this does. It's continuing that little round all the way up. So in the mirror, I'm watching my profile and I'm trying to get this round as I can get it. And blending it into the rest of the body of the teapot. Okay, so let's stop it, check the, well actually these are pretty straight. That's good enough for my clay, that's gonna work. Okay, so let's take it off and check the lid. And so there's the lid for this little guy. Actually, this one looks a little different, and you'll see whenever you get a glance at the other one. This lid sits up a little higher. It's got more of a curve on it than the other one does, and I'll try to remember to point that out to you the next time I have that in front of the camera. But there's our little profile, and there's our little foot. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. This lid sits down into this gallery a little further than this one does. It just sits up a little, I guess they call it more proud than this one. So one thing I can do to make I like the idea of the continuation of the round going right into that teapot. So I'm going to trim this around here just a little bit to see if I can, this one comes in a little more, but I think I'm going to delineate this just a little bit more and see if I can improve the shape of that. It's not a bad shape, and if you get something like that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But like I said, I'm obsessive compulsive or something. Anyway, I want it to look, okay, I hope you can still see. Let me check. Okay, I think you can, yep. You might not be able to see the bottom of the teapot, but you can see the part you need to see for the top. Yeah, this gallery is definitely deeper than the other one. But instead of trying to change that, I think I can change this. Now I can't do a whole lot to it because that's pretty thin right there, so I don't want to break anything off, right? Okay, so let's see what happens if I just take this down just a little bit. Can't twist that very much, can I? That may even give me a little design element that I can use as I'm glazing. Okay, now let's try the lid and see what we think. The difference is going to be very subtle. I'll hold it sideways so that you can see the change was very small, but now it looks like this line continues through this little band and continues up onto the lid. So I'm happy with that. Now, before we go to spouts and handles, putting them on and so forth, I want to show you one more thing. This kind of goes along with those poking the hole in the lids for the teapots. Remember the little strainer, Freudian slip, I guess. The little strainer that we threw for the teapots, and remember we threw 2 of them and just set them aside. What you're going to do is trim all of this off of here to make it look like a little saucer, a little bowl that doesn't have a foot on it. So it's going to be curved like this, and you can put your holes in it, keep it moist. Or you can dunk it, I suppose, once you get ready to put it onto your teapot. I'm going to show you how to put those in, but this is probably going to be too big, but it's better to have too big than too little because you can always take it away, but you can't add it back on once it gets leather hard. Well, it's difficult if you do. Okay, so get your little strainers, find your little strainers, and trim them, and then put your holes in it. Okay? All right.